Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, 5 quick and easy examples to boost sales and marketing efficiency using Pardot. I'm Andrea Terrell, Configro's Marketing Director and Pardot Practice Lead. A couple of quick housekeeping things before we dive into the content. We will be doing Q&A at the end of the presentation, so if you have any questions, please type them into your GoToMeeting console. It's always more interesting if people have questions, so please share those as much as you can. If you're on Twitter, our handles are posted at the bottom of this slide. We'd love to interact with you on Twitter, and there may be some Configuro swag in it for you if you do. One of the first questions that we always get is if we will be sharing the slides. And yes, we are sharing the slides in the recording, and those will be sent out via email shortly after the webinar today. A quick intro to Configuro for those of you who may not be familiar with us. We're a silver Salesforce partner based in Atlanta, Georgia. We're actually located in the same office building as Salesforce and Pardot in downtown Atlanta. We were started in 2009 and since then have completed over 800 projects across all of Salesforce's clouds. Whether you have 3 users or 3,000 users, our goal is to help you build what's next on the Salesforce platform and use the tools that you have to their fullest potential. On a personal note, I've been using Pardot and a few other marketing automation platforms since 2010, both as a customer and a certified Pardot consultant. Prior to joining the Configuro team, I was a director of marketing running content and email marketing programs for a regional insurance brokerage and a digital marketing agency. Working in Pardot was always one of my favorite parts of the job, so I'm thrilled to be helping other companies implement it now in my current role at Configuro. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about marketing automation. You've heard about it, you know, plenty of marketers and sales ops professionals who are infatuated with it. We're going to talk about why it's the hottest thing in digital marketing and why it's important for your business. Beyond just theory, though, we're going to go through 5 examples of things that you're probably already doing today that could be improved with marketing automation. So first, let's start with a definition. Marketing automation is a term that's often used to describe modern email marketing or drip email marketing programs, but it really goes beyond that. And it can work wonders for amping up your lead generation efforts, lead qualification, lead nurturing, really everything that takes place marketing and pre-sales. So when I say marketing automation during this webinar, I'm referring to anything you can do to automate those marketing and pre-sales tasks. That can happen in Pardot, it could happen in Salesforce, or really anywhere in your marketing and sales technology stack. Every company and how they leverage marketing automation is a little bit different, but at a high level, the promise of marketing automation is that you can drive faster revenue growth, build one-to-one customer journeys, save time and money, optimize your marketing investments, and get the insight that you need to measure campaigns more effectively. In practice, this means equipping your teams with more knowledge about how, when, and why a prospect may choose to buy. It helps you do more with less resources. The reason why marketing automation has gained so much traction, though, has less to do with the technology itself and more about how our buyers have changed. The world of sales and marketing, like many other areas of our businesses, has changed incredibly fast over the last several years, and it shows very little signs of slowing down. So maybe you've seen this shift with some of your own customers. Buyers are more educated than ever before, and old school marketing methods are falling short of their needs. They're not looking to hear someone's pitch, and they have very little time for our phone calls and emails. They hate being sold, and they're skeptical of the usual sales hype. Maybe some of us are this kind of buyer too, deleting marketing emails as quickly as possible, ignoring unknown numbers. It's getting really hard to get through to people. Today's buyer has access to more information than ever before, including product reviews, what their friends are saying about it on social media, and more. So the way people buy has changed, but many of our organizations are struggling to adapt to this. In the past, there were a limited number of channels and touch points where our buyers could engage with us, a few of the ones you see on the screen. In this new age of digital marketing, the number of ways that we can reach out to customers has just exploded. Buyers are interacting with us in a whole range of new different ways as they move towards making a purchase decision. So what marketing and sales is now tasked with is how do we organize this complex web of interactions into one cohesive experience for buyers? And then on the back end, how do we report across this entire customer experience to know which of our marketing efforts are really working? So in terms of things that stand in the way of our organizations making this shift, a big issue is that we have too many channels and not enough time to manage all of them. We know in theory that marketing and sales messages need to be personalized, but building out that framework is still a really complex and labor-intensive thing. And while we're gathering a lot of data, there's a missing link between marketing metrics and some of the things we can measure on the marketing side of the house and actual sales results. Without this link saying this campaign drove X number of dollars of revenue, it's really difficult to have a holistic view of your business and justify continued spends to make marketing improvements. And lastly, with separate tools and systems being used by different teams, we end up inevitably working in silos, particularly between sales and marketing. So ultimately, we're looking at disconnected tools, disconnected teams, and this leads to a disconnected customer experience. If we don't have the right tools and processes in place, we're losing customers, ones that we might not even know anything about. Buyers are doing the majority of their research online before we even know that they're in the market. So if your website and your online presence aren't optimized to generate and to nurture leads, you're probably missing out on opportunities that you never even knew existed. My prediction is that we're going to start to see the lines between marketing and sales start to blur a bit. And with more of the buyer's journey taking place online, marketing is going to own responsibility for nurturing that lead much longer than they have in the past. So to be able to adapt to these changes and take advantage of the shifts that we're seeing, we need marketing and sales teams that can operate in lockstep with one another and a common technology platform that makes it possible for us to collaborate and hold each other accountable for results. And that's really where Pardot comes in. This isn't intended to be a demo. If you would like a demo of Pardot, that's certainly something we can help with. Feel free to reach out to me after the presentation. But what I do want to walk through is a couple of examples of how automation could be applied in your organization. So if you think of some of the poster children of marketing automation, a few of the commonly cited ones are Amazon, Netflix, Pinterest, these big giant companies. They've taken personalization to a whole new level. So every customer's experience is really unique. When I log into Netflix, I see the top 10 suggestions that are tailored right for me. This isn't my Netflix, but it's just a screenshot that I grabbed online. This level of personalization is great, and it'd be awesome to get there, but many of our businesses aren't quite at this level yet. So for the rest of us, I absolutely would recommend a crawl, walk, run approach. There's definitely some low-hanging fruit in the spectrum of zero to Netflix. Some low-hanging fruit that you can address that could have a big impact on efficiency, aligning your team's efforts, and overall just improving the investments that you're making in marketing. So as you're looking for opportunities to introduce marketing automation in your organization, one of the questions to ask yourself is what processes does your team actually add value to? There are some tasks that your marketing and sales reps do better than anyone else where they bring huge domain knowledge and expertise to the table. But other tasks do not take that level of skill. So I challenge you to think about what processes does your team actually add value to along the way? What's the highest and best use of your team's time? and what's the cost of the time that you're spending on tasks that could be automated. So with that in mind, let's talk about lead management. There's a lot of manual work involved in lead management for many organizations. For example, the leads that you get to your website. If you're following marketing best practices, you're trying to keep your forms as short as possible so that you don't lose prospects and you get more people filling out forms. So let's say you get in a lead from a contact us form or a white paper download or some other kind of form fill. You have to go in, fill in some missing information, route it to the right person. But rather than taking this time to manually enrich records, there's some really great ways you can use Pardot to capture more data about your prospects. Pardot automatically grabs the state for each prospect. If location is a key part of your lead assignment rules, it grabs that using the prospect's the IP address of their computer. And for things like industry classifications, we can use automation rules to make some smart assumptions about this and update records. So the example that you see on the screen is actually a screenshot from my Par.org at a past company. But we did a lot of work with transportation companies, construction companies, manufacturing, companies that had a lot of risk since we sold insurance. To help streamline the process of classifying companies into different industries, we leverage Pardot. So knowing that a lot of companies have words like trucking, transport, fleet, things like that in their names, we could set up some quick rules, set up with clicks in that code to update the industry field to transportation so that our lead assignment rules could do their work and route those leads to the right person. So these are things that your marketing team can set up with no technical assistance. Like I said before, 100% clicks and not code. Another way that Pardot facilitates record enrichment is with progressive profiling. Because it's integrated so tightly with Salesforce, Pardot can check and see if a visitor to your website is in Salesforce, and it can check and see what information you already have on them. So the first time they hit your website, they might see a really basic form like first name, last name, email, company, maybe job title. And then the next time they come back, you don't need to ask those questions again since you already have that data. But instead, you could ask about types of products they're interested in, what their business problems are, whatever you need to kind of take that lead qualification to the next level. The third time they come back, you might ask about their buying timeline, their role in the decision-making process, or whatever else it is that your sales teams need. This makes life easier for the prospect because they're still filling out really short forms. It's easier for you because no one's having to look this up, Google it, or manually make updates in Salesforce, and it allows you to get better and faster results. A few other non-value added activities that are a part of the lead management process are listed on the screen. Pardot helps with these in a number of ways, including like out-of-the-box connectors with a lot of other platforms like GoToWebinar, Wistia, social accounts, Eventbrite, and it integrates with Salesforce assignment rules so that you're not doing duplicate work and trying to keep the rules consistent between both systems. The last piece of grunt work that I'd like to talk through is the process of prioritizing call lists. So for your BDRs, SDRs, or junior sales reps that are sitting down and making a high volume of calls, this can be a really time-consuming thing. So hopefully you have a full pipeline of leads that you're asking these folks to act on, and then their task is determining who to call first, which leads are the most promising and have the best chance of success. So they might click into a few records, do a little background research, start to build a plan of attack, and then before you know it, hours have gone by and they're still not making the calls that you need them to make. So grading and scoring can be a huge help here. The grade tells you how well a person fits with your ideal buyer profile. So that's the letter grade that you see here on the screen. Score tells you how active the prospect has been, how interested they are in what you've shared from a digital marketing perspective. And you really need both. So for example, if we were to just take a look at lead score, so the highest one here is Sam. He has a grade of an A minus, so he's a pretty good prospect. He matches our buyer profile really well. He's been really active with our marketing content, has visited our website. This would be a great lead for a sales rep to follow up on. If you look at the second highest score, Sarah, she has a D minus. So she's hit a lot of pages on our website. Maybe she's downloaded some content, but she really isn't aligned with the type of buyer that we know we've been successful with in the past. Someone like Sarah might be a student, a job seeker, or someone else that you don't necessarily want to clutter up your BDR's time with. Emily, on the far left, for example, her lead score is really low, but her lead grade is fairly high. So this is a great one for your BDRs to follow up with if they do have capacity. And if not, these B grade leads are perfect to drop into a lead nurturing program and see if you can get that lead score up before handing it off to sales. So the next area I'd like to talk through is templatizing simple communications for sales reps. So doing whatever you can to set up templates so that your reps don't need to write and rewrite the same basic email over and over and over. Using Pardot, you can set up templates that will be available to them in Salesforce so that with just a couple of clicks they can send and customize some of the most common communications. So things like the first intro message, a post voicemail email, thanks for the meeting, some of those things that they're having to punch out every day that could possibly be streamlined using Pardot. Asking your reps what might be useful here can shed some light on what makes the most sense. Your reps might even have some boilerplate copy of their own that you could get set up for them in the system. Salesforce Engage, if you're familiar with it, takes this one-to-one communication from sales to a whole new level. But you don't even need the Engage add-on to get started with this. So templates for one-to-one sends in Salesforce are available even in the base product. So definitely something worth taking a look at. The next question I'd recommend asking when you're looking at tasks in your organization that could benefit from automation is, what are the things that you would do if you had all the time in the world? Are there sales and marketing tasks that should be completed but just aren't getting done? These are fantastic opportunities to put marketing automation to work. An example here would be a door opener drip for B-list prospects. So if your sales reps had time, maybe they'd call on these prospects, but if they don't, put those B-list prospects in a door opening drip. Here's an example of a campaign that I was on the receiving end of from Wistia. If you're not familiar with Wistia, they're a video hosting platform that has a really great integration with Pardot. But basically, starting from day one, as soon as I downloaded a free trial, sending a welcome email, and then following up every couple of days until the trial expired 2 weeks later. There are also some great opportunities to automate after the sale is made. In the perfect world, the sales rep would keep in touch with the prospect or customer after the deal closes. But more often than not, once the deal is won or lost, they've moved on to the next thing. So with close-lost opportunities, consider rolling out a win-back campaign or something to get back in touch. A lot of sales reps will tell you that they plan to go back to lost accounts like 3 months, 6 months, 12 months later to check in and see how things are working out with the other guy. But it's hard to remember to do this. And your reps are moving on to greener pastures. So this is a great use case for automation. You can queue these emails up to go out at regular intervals after the deal is marked as closed lost. And this is an example I was also on the receiving end of from Dropbox. Asking for referrals once a project is completed, that's another example. It's one of those things that we all plan to do, but might not always have the time. These, if I could, I would things are areas where marketing automation can really shine. Another question to ask when you're looking for automation opportunities is what low-risk experiments can you run? So if you're just getting started with Pardot and marketing automation, I would recommend that you don't try to eat the whole elephant all at once. So biting off small projects that you can chew to learn the system and start generating ideas can be a huge benefit. If there's a junior sales rep that you can partner with to run mini campaigns or use to test new messaging, this can be kind of a good low-risk experiment to pursue. Another one is automating new hire communications. So this is something you'd have to partner with HR on, of course, but I think most of the times HR would really welcome some marketing TLC on some of their employee communications. At a lot of organizations, the first 90 days at a new job is you feel like everything's coming at you. So sharing information about things like employee benefits, policies, any forms that they need to sign. Those are things that maybe you could parcel out over the first 90 days and automate in a drip nurturing program. So those were the 5 examples that we promised in the title of the webinar, but beyond that, there are all kinds of campaigns that can be accelerated and improved with automation. Trade show follow-up is a great one that we see a lot of companies doing. Event invitation sequences, client onboarding, things like birthdays and customer anniversaries. There's all kinds of opportunities for automation if you just look at the campaigns that you're currently running. As you're starting to prioritize projects and build a roadmap for how you can roll out Pardot, this impact effort grid is definitely worth thinking about. So looking for projects that have a high impact but are easy to implement can do a lot to help justify the investment that you're making in the system. Here's a sample roadmap that we built for a customer. So kind of laying things out quarter by quarter, setting some goals, and biting off reasonably sized projects that they can chew. As you're looking at what you're going to do next with Pardot, I'd encourage you to be very realistic about what capabilities you have on your team and where you might need some help. So you might need to get other departments involved, sales operations if you have a department, your entire marketing team, laying out who's responsible for what and how do you get the jobs done. As a Pardot partner, Configuro can also step in to help you bridge some internal gaps, but definitely think through these questions before leaping into a new Pardot project. So the examples we walked through are fairly diverse, but the big takeaway that I wanted to get across is that there really is opportunity in marketing automation for everyone. Every organization has some tasks or processes that could benefit from the tools involved in automation, whether that's just saving people time and energy, doing kind of the grunt work of day-to-day lead management, or building out fully automated campaigns. There's something that your organization can use it for. So whether you start slow or fast, I would definitely recommend diving into it and getting started because there's a ton of opportunity for organizations that do it right to use it to get ahead and win. If you are a current Pardot customer, we do free Pardot health checks. We'll help you kind of benchmark your Pardot performance against peers, audit your setup and look for any gaps there, and help you build out that impact roadmap that we had talked about. So if you're interested in that, there's a link on the screen to visit. And with that, I'd like to open it up to any questions that you guys may have. So again, if you have any questions, please just type them in the chat window of GoToMeeting. All right, I see one question about the pricing of Pardot. Like Sales Cloud, there are a couple of editions of Salesforce, or excuse me, a couple of editions of Pardot, but the base price is $1,000 per month. and then goes up from there. So if you're looking for pricing, definitely get in touch with your account executive, and they can help get you a quote. Another question, on a slide you had Excel backflips to manage campaigns. What does that mean? So what I was referring to with that is we see a lot of companies that have multiple marketing pieces of marketing technology, having to export lists from Salesforce and kind of mesh those up with their event management platform, and then connect those to the leads that they got from AdWords, and kind of try to connect the dots between how the lead got in the door and what happened to them at the end of the day. Did it result in a sale? Was it followed up on ever? So one of the great benefits of Pardot is that it connects kind of your two most important pieces of marketing and sales technology. So the lead goes directly into Pardot, so you have the source tracked right away, and then using Salesforce campaigns, you can track every touch point with that prospect until it's a closed won opportunity. Okay, the next question, will this PowerPoint be available after the presentation? Yes, definitely. We will email out the slides and the recording as soon as this presentation is done. So that looks like all the questions that we have for today, unless anybody has another one they want to sneak in here. But I really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us for today's webinar, and feel free to reach out if you have any further questions. My contact information is on the screen. Thanks, everyone.